the wild winds call. Jasper's walking, taking pictures of it all. Boots on the ground, heart in the sky, following the blazes, just a rambling guy. Through the valleys, over the hills, chasing that freedom, feeling the thrill. With every sunrise, he's finding his way, living the dream, one step a day. Trail named Jasper, walking on through Bruce Trail, bound with a camera view. Hiking the ridges, chasing the light. Like and subscribe, come follow his life.
Good morning, everybody. Yep, you guessed it, Jasper here. Welcome to, well, what date is it today? It is, I believe, let me see now, I think it's the 20th of May. 20th, well, I know it's May, of course. 20th, Tuesday morning. What an absolutely perfect morning. Oh yeah, sun shining, no wind, a gentle breeze at best. Temperature right now is 5 degrees Celsius. So, a little bit of a chill, but the sun is quite powerful. And I can feel it, like on my face, on my neck, really quite nice and warm, although the high is only supposed to get to like 7 or 8 degrees today, so cool for the time of year, I think. Yeah, little different day today. Oh sure, it's a hiking day, and we're going to be in the Beaver Valley section of the Bruce Trail today, and we continue our preparation, our training, our hip rehabilitation. We continue all those things as we prepare for our next through hike, which is rapidly, super rapidly approaching. In fact, a week tomorrow is when I fly to the UK to begin the next through hike. Yeah, so time is moving along pretty quickly. But look at this, isn't this just gorgeous out here? Absolutely gorgeous. So today, yeah, I mentioned it's a little different hike with a little different pack on. So even though it's still a training day, we're incorporating something a little different. Something I do a lot of, but I don't often talk about it. Yeah. Okay. I thought I could hear noises like animals of some kind to my left. But maybe not. Anyhow, so what I was saying is, yeah, so today's a little different. We're heading into south on the Beaver Valley. And we are heading to, well, we're actually heading past Webwood Falls. Now, you may recall, we were actually there in our last video. It's a 23-kilometer hike today, in and out. So 11.5 kilometers in, 11.5 kilometers out. We're going to stop at the Webwood Falls. We're going to capture some images. We have our full photography gear with us today. So the pack weight's around 25 pounds, which is all, well, it's a combination of my photography gear and of course my lunch. Gotta have my lunch. Oh, you'll never forget, you'll never guess what. yesterday was a 20.5 kilometer hiking day, and I forgot my coffee thermos flask. Yeah, I did. I forgot it. Oh boy. That reminds me, thermo flask. I gotta tell you guys a joke. So you know what? We're on a good piece of trail here. I think now would be a good time for me to tell you my dad's favorite joke. Favorite of all time. Anyhow, off we go. So there was these two Irish guys, Paddy and Paddy. And they worked in building, construction, this kind of work. And every day on the construction site, at 12 o'clock, the lunch buzzer would sound. And Paddy would grab their lunch pails and head on over to a wall that they liked to sit on each day. Sit in the sunshine and have their lunch and chat. And they enjoyed it. So this particular day, they grab their lunch pails, they head on over to the wall, and they sit down, and Paddy opens his lunch pail and he pulls out his sandwich, and he pulls out a thermo flask. And Paddy says to him, he says, "Hey, Paddy, what you got there?" I said, "Well, I got my sandwich and I got one of them there thermo flasks." He says, "Thermo flask," he said. "So what does that do?" He said, "Well," he said, "it keeps hot stuff hot and cold stuff cold." So, wow, pretty damn cool, he said. I might get myself one of those. I can see how handy it would be. And Paddy said, "Yeah, it's really handy." "Okay," he said, "I'm going to get one." So that night going home, Paddy stops at the hardware store. And he goes on in and he says to the shopkeeper, he said, "Hey there, shopkeeper, come on down here." He says, "Yeah, what do you want?" He said, "Well, do you have one of them there thermo flasks?" He said, "Yes, we do." He says, "You know, the kind that keeps hot stuff hot and cold stuff cold." He said, "That's exactly the ones we have." "That's what I want," he said. So he buys one and pays the shopkeeper and he heads on home. Happy as anything. He's got himself thermo flask, just like Paddy has at work. So the next morning, he packs up his sandwich and packs up his thermo flask and puts everything in his lunch pail and he heads to work. 12 o'clock, the lunch buzzer sounds, and Paddy and Paddy grab their lunch pails, head on over to the wall they usually sit at, and they like to sit there in the sunshine and chat, have their lunch. So today, Paddy opens his lunch pail and he pulls out his sandwich and his brand new shiny thermo flask. And Paddy says to him, he said, "Hey, Pat, what you got there?" He said, "Well, just like you, Paddy, I got myself one of them there thermo flasks. You know, the ones that keep hot stuff hot and cold stuff cold." He says, yeah. He said, "I know what you mean." He said, "They're great." He said, "Yeah." He says, "What you got in it?" He says, 2 coffees and a popsicle." Okay, you can laugh now. That's when you laugh. 2 coffees and a popsicle. Oh well. Anyhow, that was my dad's favorite joke. Now, I will say one thing. You could tell his joke a whole lot better than I can. But you know, I like to think about my dad sometimes. I really do. Okay, let's get to hiking. So one thing I figured out, in a video probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 videos ago, I mentioned that on my GoPro 8 Black, when I press the start button, quite often it doesn't engage. I have to press it 2 or 3 times before it engages. But it wasn't doing that all the time. It was doing that some of the time, most of the time, but not all the time. And I figured it out. I have one actual GoPro battery for my GoPro 8, and then I have 2 no-name Amazon batteries that I purchased recently. When I say recently, a few months ago, back in the winter anyhow. And the ones that are no-name, they said they're for GoPro 5, 6, 7 and 8. And of course the battery that came with the camera is a GoPro battery. So whenever I have the battery in the GoPro that is a GoPro battery, an original GoPro battery for an 8, when I press start, it starts. When I press stop, it stops, each and every time. But when I have the knockoff, if you will, the off-brand batteries, it doesn't start every time. Some kind of a flaw. It does operate. We're using one right this minute, but it takes 2, 3, 4 mashes or engagements or presses of the start button before it actually starts. So I got that much figured out. So of course, on my next upcoming through hike, I will take my one actual GoPro battery and just one of the knockoff batteries as a backup. So I will have 2 batteries. So unless I mess up royally, I should always have at least 1 battery charged. I have a total of 3 batteries, but there's no point. I don't need to take 3. The 2 will be fine. Secondly, a little bit of a recap about what is coming up. So on the 28th of May, a week tomorrow, next Wednesday, I leave Toronto and fly into Glasgow in the UK, Scotland. From there, once I arrive in Glasgow, I will be picking up my butane fuel for my cook system, and I do have a train ticket booked to St. Bees. Now, I'll arrive in St. Bees. Well, I arrive in Glasgow on the morning of the 29th. I'll arrive in St. Bees, all schedules being normal and on time, in the afternoon on the 29th. Hang on, let me just recap that again. I fly on the 28th, it's an overnight flight. I arrive early morning, when I say early morning, 6 o'clock-ish, Glasgow time, 6:50 I think, Glasgow time, in the morning. At 10:30, I have a train booked out of the central station in Glasgow to St. Bees. That gives me time while I'm in Glasgow to get my butane fuel. There's lots of outfitters downtown Glasgow, and that'll be fine. I arrive in St. Bees in the afternoon, somewhere between 1:30 and 2ish, if everything's running on schedule. Now, I hadn't decided for sure whether to just go straight to the trailhead and start hiking, or just go to a camp. There's a commercial campground in St. Bees, and get a spot for the night and start on the 30th, the morning of the 30th. Still not 100% sure. I'm just going to leave that to how do I feel after I've traveled all night and most of the next day to get there. Probably tired. It's the same flight I've had many times, and it's always tiring. Once there, I'm going to, from St. Bees, I'm going to jump on the Coast to Coast Trail, the Alfred Wainwright Coast to Coast, and do a crossing of England, just under 200 miles to Robin Hood's Bay. The average seems to be around 14 days that most people are doing it in. Some less, there is a goal to do it in 10, which is a 10-day crossing kind of club. 20 miles a day, 32 kilometers a day to maintain that. I doubt if I can do that. But anyhow, once I arrive, assumably arrive in Robin Hood's Bay, I will be heading from there back up to Glasgow, Mulgai, northern suburb of Glasgow, where I will then attempt for the third time the West Island Way. Just under 100 miles from Mulgai, Glasgow to Fort Williams. Yeah, so that's the 2 trails that I'm pretty much know I have time for. If I have the time, depending on weather, trail conditions, and how I'm making out, what I'm doing, I would like to attempt the Great Glen Way, which goes north from from Fort William to Inverness, and that's around 80 miles. If I don't have time for that, then whilst I'm in Fort Williams, maybe I can there is a couple of commercial tenting options, plus there is a backpackers hostel, and maybe I could get a bunk or a camp spot for say 2 nights and attempt, if the weather's suitable, a summiting of UK's highest mountain, Ben Nevis. Either way, I would be happy with any of those kind of scenarios. So that's the plan, and it all starts basically a week from now. Just wanted to fill you all in on that again. Okay, let's just keep moving down the trail. We'll be coming to our first break in about 20-25 minutes. We keep passing benches. There's a couple of another bench just ahead of me, but I know of a bench across Grey Road 40. We talked about it before. It was one of my overnight camping spots on my 2 hikes of the Bruce. We're going to sit there and take a break. Kit Kat, some coffee. I remembered to bring my coffee this time. I forgot yesterday. That's really bad for Jasper. At 6.2 kilometers into the hike, my favorite little bench, one of my favorite little benches, and I'm having my break. I've got a Kit Kat bar, and I remembered to bring my coffee this time. I didn't yesterday, and that really upset me. But today I do have my coffee. Yeah. Sunshine, beautiful. I passed one of the hiker this morning. He was heading northbound, I'm heading southbound. That was it. Yeah, but just a gorgeous morning. Wow. Right near Grey Road 40. You can maybe hear the cars. I've camped right here. Beautiful little spot to camp in, right here where my feet are. And a bench for breakfast, dinner, that kind of thing. I camped here once on a through hike, right here. Okay, I'm going to enjoy my break, and then we're going to push. How far is it? It's not too far from here. I don't know, 4? Is it 4? I think it's 3.5, maybe 4 kilometers from here to Webwood Falls, where we're going to do our photo shoot, and then from there we're going to continue heading south. See you in a bit. Okay, coming out of the forest and farm fields on a grey, I think it's Grey Side Road 25, and the Fairmont Side Trail, and just down here, yeah, Fairmont Side Trail. Okay, just down here, in fact we can hear it, we can hear the falls. We're going to arrive at Webwood Falls. We get our first look at the top of the falls, right there. Old stone wall from back in the day. Could that have been a mill? Don't know. Don't know. Apparently, according to Barry, oh, can't think of his last name, begins with a W. He's a long-time kind of member and advocate and an amazing ambassador for the Bruce Trail. He mentioned that somebody stole the plaque, or the plaque disappeared, let's say, and that would have had information on it. But here we come to an actual lookout, and I don't think it gives us any history. That was probably on the plaque that has been stolen. No, it just tells us it's built by volunteers on donated long-time Beaver Valley Bruce Trail member Jim Horwood. Okay, here a much better look at the Webwood Falls. Okay, so let us get our camera set up on its tripod. Let's see what kind of image we can capture. We'll talk about that, but first, let's just get the camera set up. Okay, we're set up on the tripod. I'm using my Canon DSLR. It's a Canon 7D. I was a professional photographer for many, many years, but when I retired, I sold all my high-end gear. But I did go back to gear, photography gear, that I had truly loved over the years. One was my Canon 7D. I'm using a kit lens, 18 to 55 mil lens. We have settings are set up, and we have, first of all, we have f14. I want to slow things down a little bit. I want to give the waterfall the silky kind of look. 35 mil focal length. I have a polarizer. Something's coming from my left corner. I am in the shade. The waterfall is not. You could get some sunflower across there, hence the polarizer. Also to add saturation to the image. I'm using a circular ND filter. That's helping to slow things down. Sunglasses, if you will, for the lens. I set a 2-second timer, which gives me a shutter speed of 1/8 of a second. I'm going to take one single shot. 2-second timer. There's my image. I'm going to take one more. 2-second timer. Second image. Okay. I'd like to bracket that image. I'd like to take 3 shots. The first 2 shots were at what my camera tells me, or the metering mode, light metering mode on the camera tells me is correctly exposed. But I want to take a shot 1 step underexposed, and a shot 1 step overexposed, and then a center shot, one shot, again, what my camera tells me is correctly exposed. So, I'm going to put my finger in front of the lens. I'm going to take 1 shot of my finger. But that tells me everything after that image, when I open the file in Lightroom, is part of a bracketed selection of shots. So now, I'm going through one stop underexposed. 2-second timer. Did not engage. 2-second timer. My first shot. Now, I'm going to go to what my camera tells me is correctly exposed. 2-second timer. My second shot. Now, for the third and final shot of this series, I'm going to what my camera tells me is 1 stop overexposed. Again, 2-second timer. Third shot. I'm going to put 2 fingers in front of the lens. I'm going to take 1 more shot. So the first finger tells me everything beyond then is part of the bracketed selection of images. When I get to the 2 fingers, it finishes between the 1 and the 2 fingers. Okay, I'm going to change the focal length. Oh, I'm going to widen it up to about 30 mil. Take a little look, see. Go back to what my camera tells me is correctly exposed. Catch another image. There's that image. Now, I am using a L bracket, an Arca Swiss mount on my tripod, and an Arca Swiss compatible L bracket. I'm going to a vertical or portrait configuration. Looks really nice. Just gonna lift that up slightly, just slightly, like there. Oh yeah, actually just a little bit more. Just a little bit more, just change the composition. Beautiful. 1 image. Two-second time. Now, what I would like to do, just to finish off this quick shoot, because we're out hiking, but I wanted to introduce you to something else that Jasper does on quite a regular basis, and that is photography. So I'm going to take, again, 1 shot of my finger. I'm going to take a shot of what my camera tells me is underexposed, sorry, by 1 stop. 1 stop under. First image. I'm going to set my camera to what it feels is correctly exposed. 2-second timer. Second image. And again, we'll go to 1 stop overexposed. 2-second timer. Third image in the series. 2 fingers in front. And everything, again, between the 1 and the 2 fingers is for this series of a portrait shot, if you will, or portrait orientation. It's a landscape shot of this particular waterfall. Take a little look. Come take a look at what I'm seeing, what the camera is seeing. Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? And it's really nice with that big kind of tree slightly to the left, just climbing up from the bottom. Oh, beautiful. Okay. We're going to pack this gear up. We're going to continue to our next and final or turnaround point, if you will. I think it's around 3 or 4, I think it's about 4 kilometers, 3.5, 4 kilometers down the trail. That's where we're going to have our lunch break. Let's pack up and let's get back on trail. Okay, so we're back on trail. Photo shoot is over. Continuing to head south in the Beaver Valley section towards our turnaround and lunch spot. Camera gear's all packed away. Yeah. So yes, I shoot with a DSLR, a Canon DSLR. I'm definitely a Canon shooter. I did try Nikon, but that just didn't work for me. So I shoot with a Canon 7D, which was actually my favorite camera for a crop sensor, and my favorite camera for a full-frame sensor was the Canon 5D Mark II. So those were cameras that, I made an income from for a lot of years in photography. Never ever a full-time income. It was always part-time. I've done a lot of weddings in my day, but I retired. Nobody really wants a 67-year-old male wedding photographer anymore. They seem to want the younger people. which is fine. But just for a point of interest, if any of my viewers out there are planning on marriage, or have grandchildren or daughters, sons, whoever's that are getting married, and you are looking for a wedding photographer, keep me in mind. Do keep Jasper in mind, because even though I don't advertise anymore, I don't work officially anymore as a wedding photographer, I did enjoy being part of that truly amazing and very special day for those couples that were getting married. It was an honor and a privilege to be their photographer. So if you're thinking of it, keep me in mind. Great rates. As I say, I'm not making a living anymore in photography, but I do enjoy it. So you can always email me, by the way, at trailnamejasper@gmail.com. That's trailnamejasper@gmail.com. And that would be wonderful. Secondly, the expense that goes with operating and maintaining a YouTube channel on equipment, gear, everything is very, very, very expensive. So if anyone would like to support our channel with the Buy Me a Coffee program or whatever, they could also e-transfer their contribution, donation, which is greatly appreciated, again to trailnamejasper@gmail.com. So keep that in mind if anybody would like to support our channel with a financial contribution. $2 goes an awful long way on helping maintain our channel. Okay, having said all that, we are on a backcountry gravel road, which I love. I know a lot of people don't like road walking, but I love walking past farmhomes, barns, cemeteries, schoolhouses, churches, forests and meadows and farm fields. I just love that on some of these backcountry roads. Some amazing things I've seen. Backcountry Canada. Oh yeah, just amazing. Let's get to it. Lunch break is over. We are heading back. 11.5 kilometers to go back to where we parked our car this morning in Greersville at the Memorial Forest Bruce Trail Conservatory parking area. Yep. We've got quite a bit of up and down in this particular section as we head back to the Webwood waterfall that we photographed, which seems only minutes ago. However, it was not. It was not. Okay. By the way, if we did get anything that's worth showing as far as an image is concerned from that waterfall, we're going to pop that up at the end of the video for everyone to look at. Oh yeah. And if we did get a nice image, then for your Buy Me a Coffee donation, I'd be happy to send you a printable file of that image that you can take to your local Walmart store or wherever and have a 5x7, 8x10, 11x14 image printed for your book or your wall, whatever. So again, buy me a coffee email for e-transfer, trail name Jasper at gmail.com. Tell me you'd like a copy of the image, and I'm happy to send you one. That you, again, you can just print out, be it at home, or Walmart, or wherever. Frame it, put it on your wall. No problem. I appreciate your support. Just to kind of, fill you in on what's coming up next. Well, I'd really like to produce and upload, edit and upload a video on the Nature Hike 60-liter pack. You may recall we used that a week or two ago now on a 2-day, 1-night camp on the Bruce, 50 kilometers. And I would really like to give you a kind of a entry review on that. And secondly, I'd also like to produce, edit, and upload a video on the gear I'm taking to the UK on this next hike. But with a week, just 1 week left, I'm running out of time, but I'm going to try to get those videos done and upload it because I think they'd be of interest, and we'll be able to take a look at the base weight for the upcoming through hike, where we think we should be, where we actually are, and then we'll have a look at weight with, say, I don't know, 4 or 5 days worth of food and say 2.5 liters full camp water. We'll take a look at the weight there and see how close we are to our magic 35 pounds or less, preferably less, total trail weight. Yeah, I'd like to get those things done. However, when you're out hiking every day, it's difficult. But anyhow, tomorrow's not a hiking day. Tomorrow will be a gym day. Tomorrow will be the day that I hopefully create the video, watching now, and upload it. So hopefully that'll be Wednesday, the 21st, I get that published. Then I have a few jobs to do around the house that I promised I'd do. And then we'll look at creating the next video, which hopefully is the entry review on the Nature Hike 60-liter pack, as I mentioned. So those things are what's coming up, hopefully in the very, very, very near future. Yep. And as I work on just finalizing, which I pretty much have now. Well, I have really finalized the gear that I'm going to be using on the next coming through hike. The tent, the cook system, sleep system, the pack. Did I say cook system? Yeah, it should be in there. My water filtration system. Yeah, clothes I'll be using. Those things. All the things. Okay, let's keep going. Well, we made it back to where we parked my trusty little camper van. And I think I'd mentioned to you a while back I was going to give you a tour. Well, this is my little traveling camper van. I use the pail as a portable toilet. icebox, 2 storage units, clothes, cooking supplies, dry goods, generator, 1500 watt 110 volt generator, my sleeping bunk. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now I have many other things. There's my hiking pack that I normally use for training, and here is my photography pack that we used today. On this side, I have a 2-burner stove right there, propane. Here goes a fold-up chair and a few other things that I don't have in here right now. The fold-up chair is a camping chair, and it fits perfectly inside on rainy or colder days. And then on warm days, it's perfect for wherever I'm parked. Just basically sitting right there next to my van. I carry a 16-liter water jug. Those cost me $4.99. And when I open them, I have a little electric cap that sits on with a hose or little line going down to the bottom and a spout. You press it and you have running water. It's perfect. I did buy a 10-inch tablet and a mount, which I had basically mounted up towards the back of the camper for TV and entertainment and so on. But I didn't like it. I got it from Amazon.com and I just found it was too slow. So I sent it back, and now if I'm out, which isn't very often now, but if I'm out with my camera gear, and that's what this camper was all about, looking for, say, star shots, Milky Way, getting sunsets or sunrises, miles from anywhere Algonquin, wherever I wanted to go. Just a parking area like this, I'd be happy parking in here overnight and catching a sunrise or a sunset or whatever, or just camping and then setting off hiking the next day, whatever it might be. Hey, thank you for joining me. Do leave a comment below about what you think about my little camper. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed our video. Please like, share, do comment, do subscribe. We need you as a subscriber. Don't forget the Buy Me a Coffee program at trail name Jasper at email.com. And I've hoped you enjoyed my video today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.